Okay, so we just saw a race, and in case you haven't figured it out yet, the race refers to both, well, the race and diversity.
Yes, like you
Yeah,
said,
that was.
we just saw a race which is about Jesse Owens, the Olympic gold medalist guy who was a runner and all that. And I liked it. What did you think?
um, yeah, it was better than most of these kinds of movies that
It was
have
better
come
than
out
I
in recent
suspected too. I
years.
mean, I didn't
Yeah,
like when I saw the trailers. I didn't hate it. It wasn't like How to Be Single where I was like dreading it. It's just, but it had the trailers were fine. But it never really made me excited to see the movie. I was like, I really gotta see this movie or anything.
yeah, same
But,
here.
and to see it, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was great. I really liked it. I mean, not amazing. Like I don't think it needs to win every Academy Award this year or something like that. Like there's no, I'm not all up for it to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
I'm
If I were to vote it for any Academy Award, it would probably just be maybe Jason Sudeikis for Best Supporting Actor. He is great in this movie.
Yes, Jeremy Irons too
In
is
fact,
really
I'll
good.
call him the best thing.
I thought Jeremy Irons was also great. I love the scenes with him where he was like where he was like trying to convince the people to be fine with the Jew. And he was great. Like this is where because they're like Jeremy Irons in like Dungeons and Dragons where he's just over the top and being goofy. And he's
Yeah.
just really bad, but he can do really good performances though. So he's not just always like or something. And of
Yeah.
course, this
He,
movie's directed by Stephen
Stephen
Hopkins, who
Hopkins
directed Predator 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 5,
and Lost in Space.
Hello for Your Wife, and even had William Hurt in it,
Yeah.
so you still need to make that reference. What else did he? He did a bunch of other stuff. I actually put it on my phone to look up, but he did a lot of stuff. Did a lot of good movies, some
Yeah.
okay. Like he did The Reaping with Dakota Fanning, the horror movie about the plague, but like I think it was like a devil, like the girl was Dakota. Not no. I don't think it was Dakota Fanning and Sophia Robb. Maybe it was either. I got them two. I got both those young actresses mixed up because they have blonde hair. I
Yeah,
don't.
so this is a very different movie for the guy. It's like,
He's done. I think I looked up. I think he did some. He's done some other movies like this too. Not just that, but he just that his. I think most of his early stuff is mostly like is like action sci-fi schlock or whatever. But this is. Yeah, and he's not a bad director. I've never hate like I like Predator too. I even like Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Even though it's not as good as like maybe the first one and some others, but I actually number 5 is one of the sequels I actually really like from from the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
you know that Nightmare on Elm Street 5 and Inside Out are the same movie?
Hmm.
Yeah, Couch Tomato pointed out 24 reasons why the two are the same movie. He's amazing that way.
But yeah, this
Okay.
is. I thought
Well,
this was a very good film. I was enjoying it. I thought it was a very good like race, like very the sports drama. I
yeah.
actually quite enjoy sports dramas. There aren't very many that I don't dislike. I'm not saying I love all of them, but there aren't either. Most sport dramas for me are there. I really like them or I think they're okay.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mostly like sports dramas. There isn't very many that I can say that I don't like. I guess, even though they can be formulaic, I guess sometimes. But this one's not so bad. I mean, yeah, it's but
Yeah, I'm
and the
not a
acting's good. Keep going. Sorry.
okay.
Sorry.
I'm not a fan of sports dramas. I find many of them to be very formulaic, especially the ones that Disney's brought out in recent years. This movie kind of turns away from some of the tropes of some of those movies, like with Luz, or what was his real name? Was it? I almost want to say it was Justin Long, but okay. So like at the end when Jesse Owens is up against the guy who's held like the record for jumping, and you think at first that he's just going to be that stereotype that's just really haughty, and you think he's going to give him like a terrible advice on where to jump, and it actually turns out to be advice that works.
Who are you
And so
talking about? Who are you talking about?
Luz.
Oh, you
Yeah,
mean the German guy who became his friend? Who was his friend? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I like that guy. He was
yeah, and
cool.
we actually find out that he wanted Jesse to win.
Yeah, I kind
Yeah,
of want to bring this up about. There's a scene where he's Jesse Owens is supposed to meet the main guy. If you don't know who that, he's supposed to meet Hitler, and they're so bummed out. I'm like, yeah, that's trust me, you touched a bullet. You do not
I
need to
was
see. If I was looking back and like I got Miss Hitler, I'd be like, I'm kind of glad I did Miss Hitler. I don't want to
I was kind of bummed too because it's like you really want to see Hitler's reaction to him winning.
Oh, okay, I
Well,
guess you
that
could.
was good
At
enough.
the
He
same
just couldn't.
at the same time, I'm also kind of happy because I'm afraid of that actor might have been a little too maybe because he was just kind of quiet. The actor who played Hitler was kind of mostly just sitting there, angry
Yeah,
and kind of
because
quiet.
he's not on screen for very long.
Which is kind of good because maybe I don't know if the actor would have been at very good. Maybe he might have been like I'm Hitler and over the top and just would have been kind of goofy. I but at the same time I'm just like for Jesse Owens himself, I guess I'm kind of glad because
Yeah.
would you look back if you had a chance to meet Hitler, would you be like, you know what, or would you be like, oh man, I miss Hitler that one time, or you'd be like, you know what, I'm kind of glad I did miss Hitler because he's a awful person, so everyone
Yeah.
knows who Hitler is. But also, I liked they did kind of show that the that the because takes place before before the Second World War happened. You could kind of see that there were some fruits that it's starting a bit because there's like one scene where Jason Sudeikis is trying to pick up shoes for Owens, Jason Sudeikis' character, and he sees them kind of hauling some people off, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is. Yeah, what are you gonna say? Sorry.
The part that really kind of lost me in this movie, and in fact, I think the whole section could have been cut out. It's when his fiancee, because she's like back in Ohio and he's overseas in training and whatnot, and so she sees this newspaper article with him at a dance, just dancing with another woman, and so it's not like they were making out or anything. She just sees that one image of him. It's at a party.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And so that, of course, gets her really, really mad, and he has to, like, fly back overseas to ask her to marry him right away. Yeah, okay.
I thought that
Right.
was fine because then I guess I don't know, it didn't bug me at all for some
Yeah.
reason.
I would have,
Usually that stuff usually does, but for some reason that didn't bug me so much.
I think I would have only believed it if the headlines were caught cheating. But actually, even then, I'd be like, lady, don't pay attention to the tabloids.
Yeah. I did, though, looking back at it now, I do think it was a little pointless. Probably it's just the
Yeah,
whole. I guess,
and in fact, he goes to like a barber shop to meet her again and to
beauty
ask
shop, I
her
guess.
to, yeah,
It could
ask
be
her
the
to marry
female
him,
equivalent of beauty
and
shop, sure.
she turns it down there, but then he waits for a while, and when she comes out, he asks her again. She's just kind of like, all right.
Well, it takes a while. She still has to go. Oh,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, still, I liked this film.
I mean, I don't know if that happened in reality. I mean, I tried to look up some of the factual stuff online after the movie was over, but we couldn't find out a lot about it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought this movie made Jesse Owens seem like a really cool, interesting person, just like like the 42 did for Jackie Robinson, made him look interesting. And
Yeah, I immediately got a 42 vibe watching this movie.
I also did like that at the end of the movie, they also showed that everything wasn't cleared up, that like racism wasn't gone after this. There's still a lot of problems. Like I heard,
Yeah, that's true.
like Cinema Snob mentioned in his Woodlawn review about how that at the end of that racism is just gone at this college at the end of the film. Like it's just after one speech everyone's fine, but that of course that in real life that probably actually didn't happen. It was
Yeah.
there's probably still was some racism going on. It's just I don't know. I
Oh.
didn't see Woodlawn, so I can't. Did you see
I
Woodlawn?
haven't either yet. I do want to pick it up.
You see, because it's weird. It has a great critical response, but once I saw Brad Jones's review, I'm like, whoa, okay. But let's get back. I guess I also liked one thing they did that I didn't expect from this movie is they would show what's Abraham. I can't pronounce her name. The lady who filmed who filmed like about the Nazis for Hitler.
Yeah.
She's like this one female. I learned about her in school. She was a really interesting lady, actually. She was like, she's a great filmmaker. It's just that once she filmed it for Germany and the Nazis, she never got like much work after that. Like she was kind of blacklisted because of what she did. I feel kind of bad for her because she seemed like an interesting person too, from what the movie. Because she wasn't a bad lady. She just was doing it for money, and it got her attention, I guess, because that film was popular. Her films she did were kind of popular or whatever for Hitler, even though like, but I thought that was kind of interesting. They showed her. I didn't think she was going to be in the movie at all. I was just like, oh hey, it's that one lady I learned about in school. Then you can't pronounce her name. And I did like the bad guy kind of that one German guy who was like trying to stop. I thought the actor did a good job, and I like that there wasn't a scene where he spoke English. That the whole time he was speaking German. I thought that was kind of interesting because some films would probably just like try to make everyone just have some British guy or whatever, just make it or something. Or I thought he was a very threatening guy. I thought he did a good job, and he was kind of creepy in a way. He was worse than Hitler because Hitler in this was just kind of like this.
Yeah.
She's just kind of sitting there. There was just the quiet guy while this guy was the real evil. I'm kidding. In the movie, anyways, but what if Hitler all sucks?
I kind of thought some of the editing in this movie was kind of weird. Like in the locker room when it's kind of like in Love and Mercy when
I didn't see Love and Mercy, so I can't say. But keep
yeah,
going.
when people are talking over the top of each other and it's like really getting in his ears, you know, and it like how do I describe it? There's like a shot of Larry, and just talking, and it like.
Is that
And it
Jason
like
Sudeikis'
does
character?
it does kind of a jump cut where it's like a foot closer to his face. That was kind of awkward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of weird.
And also I did think it was kind of a strange decision how they have like those ending notes still playing over the movie, like right before Jesse Owens gives a kid his autograph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
But that was cool. It was a white kid too. I like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna talk about much about the racism stuff because there was a lot of them being tortured. I mean, I've actually think I've said a lot of stupid stuff on this show, on our review show about
I don't think you have.
race. No, I've said some. I think thinking back, some stuff I've said about race is like, oops, I shouldn't have said that. Not offend some people or whatever. Not like I'm not that I've said the N word or something like that, but I've said some things that I think are just kind of stupid, just kind of white. Me being raised white and all that, just kind of stupid stuff. But anyways, nothing too bad. Like I said, I haven't said anything. I don't think really bad, but like I don't know. But this is but I like this movie. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's because I do kind of like sports movies because I don't like watching sports in general. Like watching sports on TV for me is kind of boring. I'm not that big sports person, but when it's in a movie a text of a movie, I tend to enjoy it a lot more. And I think I liked this, and I liked I even liked because it was kind of a political, kind of not like a political movie, like in the way like where it's trying to make you believe in its own political agenda, and but it's just kind of like it showed like it was about the whatever the racism and countries having problems with each other and stuff too. Like it had both of that. It wasn't just sports, or it wasn't just one thing. It was more than that, and I liked that about it. Though
I think
when at the end when they showed pictures of Jesse Owens, the guy they got was like you see Jesse Owens in real life. Jesse Owens is not as good looking as the actor they got for him, which I'm not saying the actor needs to look exactly like him, but it's kind of a bummer that they always need to hire like handsome people to play. Like they couldn't hire at least somebody who kind of looks like Jesse Owens. It's just kind of
crud, the battery's running out. All right, I'll have to turn these on.
But I just feel kind of bad for actors, people who want to act who don't look great, who don't look like the Hollywood beautiful. I just feel kind of bad for people like that.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that with like Soul Surfer. I'm of course not saying this because Bethany Hamilton is minus one arm, but she's definitely not as pretty as Anna Sophia Robb. Though to be fair, Bethany Hamilton actually wanted her in the role after seeing her in Bridge to Terabithia, so
Uh,
yeah.
so
So
that's fine.
yeah,
But anyway, even with that said, it's still more about the acting, and I thought he did a good job. So to after I can still ignore that. It
yeah.
would have been nice, because I'm not saying like Jesse Owens was a bad looking guy at all or anything. He looked fine. I'm just saying he just looked this guy. It's just they always got to hire someone who looks super pretty and attractive. Like I think they're afraid people are gonna go, he doesn't look Hollywood
Mm,
perfect. I hate this movie. I'm never gonna see this movie from these people again or something. It's
yeah.
just, I mean, it's not as bad as
I
something
think
like
maybe they
as TV, like the CW, like where they always gotta hire super pretty young
yeah,
people.
yeah.
But other than that, like I said, he did a good job acting wise, so I could ignore that. And Jason Sudeikis is good. Everyone I think did a
Yeah.
good job. And one thing I did want to kind of mention is that not everyone was a recognizable actor. I like that. Like
Yeah.
not everyone was like super. Like I
Took me
didn't.
a few minutes to realize that was Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, like it wasn't always like I mean there was Jason Sudeikis who I recognized, not and there's Jeremy Irons and William Hurt, but it wasn't like everyone like walked by, I know that actor, or I know that
Yeah.
actor. I mean, I recognize it was, and if there would be some people I would recognize, it would always be like, I recognize that person from something, but he's not like a super big celebrity. I like that they did. That it was like they're giving some new people a chance. It felt like people who aren't known as amazing actors or something like that a chance. It's not just hiring. Let's hire all these people you know from all these movies or something like that.
I was kind of thinking maybe Omar Sy would have been a better casting choice for Jesse Owens. You know, he was like in Jurassic World
And
as
I heard, well, the movie I heard that he was really good in was like The Untouchables, or not The Untouchables. That um, it was like a French film that he was in that was really good. But I don't. But yeah, he was good in Jurassic World, and he
yeah,
was also in Burnt as well. He had a good, even though that movie wasn't great,
yeah.
but he was.
I think he did kind of have a gap between his teeth, like the real Jesse Owens did.
Oh yeah, that actually would have been a
Yeah,
good choice. But I think maybe they want a new person to try to mark it off as like I guess a new actor who up and comer or
yeah.
whatever.
Because I had never heard of the actor before.
You know, I think he's probably only been maybe in TV or something like that, or smaller roles, because he didn't say introducing whoever, so he must have
Yeah,
been in just smaller stuff. So, like what's Chadwick Boseman from 42? He'd only been in like a few TV stuff and a couple movies as like minor characters before he was Jackie Robinson, which kind of pushed him, and now he's going to be Black Panther. So. And who knows? This guy, right now he's starring in Race, but in a couple years, who knows? He could be Spawn or something. Just naming a super from comic book character. You
yeah,
never. And the Spawn movie's script has been complete, so who knows? But I'm not saying he is going to be
yeah.
Spawn or whatever. But any comic book character, you never know. So, but I thought this was but I enjoyed this movie. So should we get the grading, or do you have anything else
Yeah,
to say?
I don't think I have much else to say. I mean, I think it's better than some of the sports dramas that we've gotten in recent years.
I
I think
heard
they're
McFarlane USA was good. I never saw that.
nah, I didn't prefer that. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised at how long we've been going on about this movie. I mean, McFarlane USA, I would have had barely anything to say about it. So yeah, so I do think there are scenes that could have been cut out, and but I was mildly compelled, and yeah, all the acting is great. So I I give it a B minus.
But yeah, I thought this was a really good sports drama. I didn't really have many problems. There was barely any moments where I was bored, where I was like, I want to go home or something like that. Like, I wasn't like, man, how much longer is this movie?
Yeah,
And I also kind of did. I forgot to mention that I also did like that this film didn't end with like a super big, oh my god, you might lose this last race. I mean, there was kind of it, but it wasn't like a huge dun dun dun, dun clapping
yeah,
moment.
yeah. That is another thing I forgot to mention. That was kind of that was kind of a that was an avoidance of a common sports drama trope.
Yeah, this film kind of ended a little differently, but so
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a bit high. I'm gonna give this an A minus. I liked it.
All right.
I enjoyed this one. So let's
Okay.
get to I guess the trailers. First, we got to talk
Yes.
about Everybody Wants Some, the
Yeah.
new Linklater film, and I'm actually really excited because, like I said, I love Dazed and Confused, and it looks like Dazed and Confused too. It looks like he's in even has like actors, because like Dazed and Confused, I mean, it has a lot of actors you'd recognize now, like Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck, and
Hmm.
Mila Jovovich and stuff. Like there are people, except for Jeremy London, no one knows the hell
Yeah.
heck he is anymore. But it had a lot of, at the time, it had a lot of actors who weren't that well known. Like this one, the only person I recognize is Kurt Russell's son, who was in 22 Jump Street, and what's her name? Leah Thompson's daughter, Emily Clark or something like that. She was in Dirty Grandpa earlier this year, and
Not Amelia Clark.
no, not Amelia.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like Emily Clark. I can't remember. I can't pronounce. She was in Beautiful Creatures as well. I can't remember her name, but she's Leah Thompson's daughter. She's
Hmm.
also going to be in it. There's a couple, but it has mostly unknowns, and because that's what also Dazed and Confused had. It had a lot of people who weren't very well known at the time, but then eventually starred in like stuff that you're like, hey, I know him. Oh, I know him now.
Yeah. Ethan Hawke wasn't in that one.
In
Dazed and Confused.
I don't know if he was or not. I have to rewatch it. I didn't know who Ethan Hawke was at the time. So
Yeah. Ethan Hawke. He's.
I don't believe so. I
I think one of his first was Dead Poet Society. Dazed and Confused came out about the same time, right?
I don't think he was though. I don't. Ethan Hawke hasn't really been in many Linklater films actually.
Yeah, he has. You kidding?
Oh yes.
Dude, all the Before movies, Boyhood, Tape, and I think some others too. In fact, Ethan Hawke actually agreed to finish directing Boyhood if Richard Linklater died during the shooting.
But no, I didn't know that. I
Okay, that kind of sounded wrong.
'Cause I-
Died during the shooting.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah. But because I've only ever seen him in like the Before movies and
Yeah.
Boyhood. I never really saw him in, because I've only seen like the only Linklater films I've seen are like School of Rock, and like I've seen Bad News Bears remake and a bunch of some of his other stuff, but I haven't seen like every Linklater film. I'm Dazed and Confused and stuff. Is like Dazed and Confused is like one of my favorite films of all time, so I'm really excited for this one and one thing, because it says it's from the 80s and actually doesn't look like the 80s at all, but that's because that's because it's the beginning of the 80s, where it still looks very 70s like, and I think maybe the film might later, it didn't show it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to deal with the change of the 80s, because it's everything's changing, like it's gonna start looking more like the 80s maybe by the end. Though this isn't the trailer I saw before, this is a bit different. Like I think they added a couple different scenes. Like in the trailer I saw, there's the part where they're joking around, like at the end, like I'm cereal, I'm thinking of cereal. In the trailer that actually that I saw, they actually do show them sort of smoke. Well, it doesn't actually show them like smoke the bong, but it starts the noise of the bong, and like you can obviously tell they smoked something or something like that. And the trailer just sort of shows them, what are you thinking about? Cereal. I'm thinking about sharks. But what do you think? What do you think? It looks good. Or?
Yeah, I think it kind of looks good. I mean, it looks like it's kind of gonna be like a high school movie that doesn't have much of an objective, but it's just gonna kind of be about about people's lives, and that's what I really like about Linklater. He seems to be the only guy who can really pull that off well.
Well,
I mean,
George
I've
Lucas
only
did a
seen...
good job in American Graffiti. That
Oh.
was basically Dazed and Confused actually came from that.
Oh.
And American Graffiti is basic because like Tarantino, he described Dazed and Confused as like the perfect hang out with your friends film, because that's what it is. It's basically Dazed and Confused, and this one looks like it the same way, but it's basically you're just watching a bunch of people kind of hang out, and it's based on like I think it's loosely based on Linklater's life, though Linklater grew up in the '90s, but it's sort of based on his life or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, so
The sort of stuff that he did or something with his friends, I guess. But it looks good. Because I like Dazed and Confused, so I'm excited for this one. But
yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I am really curious to check out more of Linklater's work. Like you, I've only seen the Before trilogy and Boyhood. Wait, you saw Bernie, right? I still haven't seen Bernie yet.
Yeah, so Bernie as well. I forgot about that one. But
I think it's still on Netflix. I gotta...
yeah, Bernie's really good. Wait, did you see School of Rock or Bad News Bears remake?
No.
Those are really good. Those are a little different, because those are like some of the only films I've seen from him where it isn't just people talking. It's
All right.
like something actually like School of Rock is about him holding like a kid's like a school or whatever, and then he teaches them how to rock or whatever, and then he basically makes a band out of them. It's really interesting. And then Bad News Bears is a remake about where Billy Bob Thornton is teaching these kids baseball or whatever. They're really good films actually. They're really funny. And even Bad News Bears' remake is really good. I've never seen the original, but
So everybody wants some just got pushed forward 2 weeks to April 1st,
Yep.
and that's no April Fool.
Okay, so what would you say? Would you say yes, no, or maybe for everybody wants some for the trailer?
Probably yes.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
yes as well because from how the trailer made you feel if you want to see the movie. And yes, because like I said, I love Dazed and Confused, and it looks like it's very much in the same vein as it. So I think I'm gonna like it. Though,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna kind of say like about people who like you because I know a lot of people probably won't like this film because I know when we saw American Graffiti, I know a lot of people did not like it. And I remember talking to a teacher, he said he didn't like a graffiti and he didn't like Dazed and Confused because that's not his thing. So if your thing is, I guess for a suggestion, if your thing when it comes out is if your thing is not like people hanging out, if you want something more, you're probably not gonna like it. But I say yes, and you say yes as well, I guess.
Yeah, I would.
And then
I do.
I know we were talking about this trailer. What's the middle one about the guy who's like who commitment movie? What's that called?
I think the perfect match.
Yeah,
I
that's what it is.
Yeah,
That I want
we
to
saw
talk.
that one
I want
before.
to. I know we've also talked about it before, but I won't. I don't. We didn't talk about it much, and I kind of want to mention like it's that one's definitely a no because
Yeah,
it's
probably.
a really because it's an awful bad like it's a really bad trailer. It's one of those trailers that's quickly cut, and it's weird too. Like there's a scene where I guess you're supposed to see her with another guy, and it just the screen blacks out, and then it's just like, how could you betray me? It's like, did I miss a scene? Did something happen with the trailer? Like, and then the last shot of the trailer is just there's no sound. It's just music. It's like it's just, of this woman catching him having sex. I guess she caught him with this woman, and it's like a slow. It keeps cutting to this scene of them having like doing the thing really slowly, and then he comes out of the room and they give a high five, and it's just kind of weird. It's just like it's really edited weird. I don't know who the heck edited it, but he needs to like whoever they need to like go, dude, you're fired. You're never editing a trailer again. Get out of here. And also like it's one of those trailers that has from this director. I'm like, who? Who's this guy? Blue something? I mean, it says executive producer Queen Latifah. Okay, I know her, but who the heck is this guy?
Yeah.
Blue, like, direct from this guy who you've never seen before. It's like, the only light spot I guess this movie had that made me go made me, only for a second, made me go, ooh, had Donald Faison. I don't know, he's an actor who's in like a show Scrubs. I really liked. And I was like, when I saw it, okay, maybe this, but then after seeing like everything else, I'm like, nope. Even with him, I'm not seeing that movie, so it's no. I just want to kind of bring that up again. But let's get to the final trailer that we haven't talked about, The Young Messiah.
Young Messiah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm
Sean
not
Bean in it?
Yeah, Sean Bean's in
That's the
it.
only
And it
thing
looks
that
like he's gonna die. I mean, he's a Roman. Well, I don't know.
that made that raised it a little higher. I'm like a little interested, but at the same time, it does look a little cheesy, and the production quality looks really bad. At the same
It looks
time,
about as good as Risen.
I think it looks kind of poor. I don't really want to. It doesn't. And also, it's one of those movies that makes. I don't really think Jesus was a huge deal when he was a kid. I don't really think so. Like I'm not saying like no one cared about him at all. I'm pretty sure like the wise men did happen. I'm pretty like maybe, and there was probably a bunch of other stuff, but I don't really think like everyone was like when he was a kid, like everyone's like, oh my god, we must kill this kid or something. Because I don't think people know, or he would never have grown up.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he would have been crucified much earlier in his life if people started taking interest in him when he was younger. I understand they're trying to show a different part of Jesus than just his older self, I guess. But it's just like I don't think the Romans really cared or really even knew anything about him when he was. I mean, there might have been a point maybe where like, oh my God, who's this kid? We must. And then he got away. Maybe before they could catch him, or maybe somebody warned them. But I'm pretty sure after that he was pretty much left alone for most of his life. I mean, I never finished the original miniseries, the Jesus of Nazareth. My mom, I own it though because my mom loves that. That's the only thing about Jesus I think my mom likes. But I don't know. This movie looks all right to me. It looks okay. It doesn't look bad. I'm actually prefer more Christian films being about than just like, here's a couple and their marriage is in turmoil. It's like, and what could help them? Not a marriage counselor. That's for Satanists. You have to you have to pray to Jesus and your marriage will be all right.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Sometimes you do have to do
I mean,
things yourself. I mean, prayer is still
I mean, prayer can help,
yeah.
but like, if your marriage is in turmoil and you think it can get better, then yeah, go get help. Don't just like help, because prayer can help, but it can't always do everything. Like, sometimes it can make things, and sometimes it can maybe make things worse. Maybe sometimes, only sometimes, not very. But I don't, like I said, I don't really have any problem with faith at all. So, but it just, I prefer more of this than them just doing like another. It's always the same. Like, I don't really, or like the modern times. This guy, he's doing this and it's ungodly. I don't like movies where someone talks down to you for. It shouldn't be about.
Yeah.
I think you should do more about people being like happy or something like that, and not trying to make people seem like jerks.
Yeah.
That's the. Not gonna, because I didn't hate the trailer, so I'm gonna give it a maybe, because it's not a bad. I don't think it's an awful. Like, it wasn't too, like the one we were just talking about. It wasn't too badly edited. It was fine. There's a trailer for, like, I understand it's not for me. It's because I'm not really, especially because there's better movie. I think there's probably going to be better, even when it comes out. I'm pretty sure there's always going to be better movies about Jesus's life than this. Like, there's some older movies that I've been told about, that are about Jesus, that are great, that are really good. Like, I think it was like The Greatest Story Ever Told. I saw a little bit of that, but I was a kid at the time, so I got bored. But that. Like that, but so far what I saw, that looked much better than this.
Yeah, I was wondering. We haven't.
The young
We actually haven't.
But what are you gonna give the Young Messiah?
Probably a maybe. Yeah.
Okay. What are you gonna say, sir?
I was gonna say we haven't gotten a movie playing the trailer for God's Not Dead 2. Should we just talk about that trailer?
Sure, because I've already seen it online, and
Yeah.
I would love to talk about it, actually. So
I am actually looking forward to doing a discussion on that one, because I am really curious about this movie. I know it's probably going to have like some of those moments that are like over dramatized, like when Ernie Hudson's like, "You're out of order," smashes the gavel.
Is that from the first one?
No, it's from the second.
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer in a while, but maybe you should watch it for that. But the only thing, I actually might see that one with you, because it has Ray Wise as the evil lawyer.
Yeah.
He's an actor.
We are going to prove once and for all that God is dead.
Did he actually say that? Like, that's another problem.
I think isn't that kind of the only thing that, like, that just internet trolls do?
Yeah.
Like, why are we here? God is obviously dead. Something like that.
Yeah, that's another problem I have with a lot of these Christian, these faith-based films too, is they always go way too over the top. Like, no one would act like that in a courtroom. Like, no lawyer would just go, "I hate Jesus!" Go crazy. Like, "We are going to prove that he doesn't exist." They always go a little too crazy.
Yeah.
It feels, from what I've gathered about these things.
Here's what I think. Here's one aspect that I think is going to be an improvement over the other. There are like no atheist people in the first movie who have like any shred of goodwill at all. I mean, like, the Professor Radisson I could understand, but Dean Cain's character in that movie, the height of how mean-spirited he is just absurd.
Yeah.
Like,
because like I said, I mean, not even with hateful stuff, even with like, when they go sappy, like, when you see a movie that's sappy, like, they always go, from what I've seen, because I've seen reviews and stuff where they always seem to go a little too over sap, like it's just way too high with Christian films.
Yeah.
Like, it just can't be, you can't calm down, guys.
Yeah. And so here's what I think is going to be improvement over it. I saw like this featurette where Jesse Metcalfe, who plays the woman's defense attorney, he has said in that featurette that his character is not a religious man, but he gains respect for her beliefs. And so that, I think, is what these movies need, because it's not going to be very good for you if you just assume that your entire audience is going to be Christian. I mean, you got to have some secular characters in there that other people can relate to.
Yeah, but I still don't think, even with from what I've seen in this trailer, I still don't think that it's still going to get people to like really who are even like even people who aren't like I'm not saying atheists to go see it, but like people who are at least a little like who aren't really atheists like me to really go, I think now this movie is actually trying to say something about faith. I should see it. I still don't think this, even with I'm talking about even not just the trailer, but the movie might not even sway people very much because it's just a trailer, and I'm still afraid that they're still gonna go a little too over the top or like just too because I mean not saying like I hate these films because they're not for me really. They're for most people who are Christian, who are deeply Christian, so they're films that to make them feel happy, to help them kind of escape from real life where everything's different or whatever. I guess I don't know. I don't. Like I said I've barely seen any of these films. The only one I've seen is Captive. I
Yeah,
mean, Risen Water probably would have been my second, but we didn't see that today. So,
yeah.
but
I saw that one last night. Yeah.
because I would have,
So,
because I don't really go. Like I said, I'm not really. It's not even that I hate. Like I said, I hate religion or that I'm because I do believe in God. I'm just not, and it's not even like because I mean if they find a way to make one interesting, like Captive was interesting. Captive did it in an interesting way, and even if you can even say that's not even like a faith-based film because it doesn't even do anything really faith. Like it's not like it's mostly about people. It's not even about like their faith all that much, in a way. If you can look at it that way, and even especially because Brad Jones has mentioned this too, acting wise too. A lot of these faith-based films don't have very good acting. They mostly just have like I mean, some of them have okay, like you said, Kevin Sorbo's really good, right?
yeah.
And like some other people have done probably some good performances in some other ones. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
but I'm still. So I guess if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a maybe still, because
Yeah.
I don't hate the trailer because I understand it's not really made for me in a way. At the same time, but at the same, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say about
Yeah.
these films, I guess.
I would say yes. I mean, I am certain that there are going to be aspects of it that are going to hit a lot of notes with me, like the first God's Not Dead did. I'm sure it's going to still have problems, but I am still curious to see what they're going to do in it, because it might also be not just a film about Christianity, but maybe also one about freedom of speech in general. And I will mention the other thing in the trailer that kind of made me laugh a bit is when the people who are for the teacher outside the court and they're chanting the lyrics of the Newsboys song. God's not dead. He
Yeah,
is
no,
surely
I
alive.
don't really listen to the Newsboys, but
You know what needs to happen?
but
The Newsboys have to show up in the courtroom to sing the song. That would make it the best movie ever.
I mean, it also wouldn't be very realistic, but it would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Do they actually gonna have the Newsboys in the second one too? Because you
I
said
think they
were
will.
the
They have a new single out called "Guilty" that was written for the movie. Great song.
No,
All right.
I don't listen to
So,
Christian rock, so
Yeah. All right. So next week we've got Eddie the Eagle, 999, and Gods of Egypt.
for me, I would say God's not Egypt for some reason.
God's not
Egypt.
We ain't talking about Raw. Raw is dead.
Yeah. But God's not. But yeah, we're saying
Okay.
Gods of Egypt. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So that does it for now.